Hope Goldman is a celebrity makeup artist with a skincare line. She mostly works with stars and celebrities. In an interview on the popular Brit and Kylie show, she announced that she would be launching her new line made exclusively in Italy. One day, she was working when she noticed something open across the street from her. She went to the store with some of her products to introduce herself and make some connections. It turns out that the place, which named Shimmer, is run by another makeup artist, Angel. Hope tries to be polite, implying that they don't have a common clientele, which Angel agrees to. However, Angel tells her to remove her car from his parking lot, causing her to lose the little effort she had to make to accept Angel. Later, she is at a coffee shop to meet a friend, but her mind keeps going back to this scenario. She grabs a pack of cigarettes and smokes outside when she notices an old friend, Jordan. She talks to him, expressing how hard it is to keep up with the expenses, but Jordan expresses how she has always been his motivation. From being kind to being hardworking, he looks up to her. He then tells her that he is a life coach and teaches spiritual teachings and martial arts. He gives her his card, telling her that he can help her if she needs any. The next day, Hope checks her phone and finds a video sent to her where she is being recorded from outside her house. She calls the number, but the other person does not speak. Later, she is walking to her salon when she receives a call from her assistant, and her emails start flooding in. Her close friends assume that she was very drunk last night, but Hope learns that is not true when she checks her email and finds an email sent to thousands of people from her. In the email, she expresses her loneliness and how she is writing to reach out to her friends and fans who need some honest time. Hope walks to her salon and asks Maureen, her assistant, to call every client she has and tell them that they have been hacked. She then brightens her mood by having Maureen record her reaction to her episode on the airing show. However, when the hosts introduce the guest, it is not her but the angel using the facial technology. After screaming at the top of her lungs in frustration, she decides to meet Brett for dinner. She explains to him the situation about her being hacked, which he believes, but he tells her that it was the producers who avoided doing so. At her request, Brett agrees to air the episode somehow. After dinner, he drives to her house and ends up kissing her in the car. Hope tells him that she can't go through with him because he's married. Brett continues to casually try until she tells him that she accidentally ended up recording the conversation. Brett asks her to delete it, which she agrees to. He then starts asking to check her phone, which she reminds him that he knows she wouldn't do anything like that and will delete it. The next day, Hope is staring out the window of her salon, Angel taking in everyone around her. When she sees one of her clients, Jessica, get out of her car. Knowing that they don't have an appointment with her, she walks out the back door and finds Jessica entering Angel's salon. Upon entering the salon, Hope makes a scene with Jessica, which causes Angel to ask her to leave. At night, Hope is about to leave for home when she finds her tires slashed. She calls the police for help and later has her tires changed by her friend Armin. She also moves her inventory to his garage because she knows someone is now following her. Armin also suggests that she buy a gun for self-defense, since things are looking dangerous for her now. The next day, Hope goes to buy a gun, but when the store owner tells her about the fire safety test and that she can get it after a 10-day background check, she tells him that she wants something now. So Hope confidently leaves after purchasing a $30 pink taser. In an attempt to calm the situation, Hope is offered free beauty treatments to restore her relationship with her clients. Margaret is currently getting a facial when a bearded homeless man enters the salon and causes a stir about wanting to have services with Hope. By chance, Jordan visits her and fights the man away. Later, the two Marines discover websites suggesting Hope provides sexual services at her salon and report them to the police. Jordan and Hope return to her house where she asks him for business suggestions. Jordan suggests that she be more social and accessible to introduce new people to her, and proposes the idea of a VIP lunchtime. Later, Jordan takes some pictures of her for her posts, during which the two begin to feel comfortable with each other. The next day, Hope calls Brett and asks him to air her episode somehow. Although she deletes the recording, she asks Brett not to talk to her about their reputations when he is like this. Hope's popularity is declining day by day, making her financial situation difficult as well. When she sees Angel's popularity increasing at the same rate as it is declining, she concludes that this is all his agenda. Knowing that no one believes her, she decides to follow Angel one night. In reality, he turns out to be the neighbor who lives across the street from hers, but when she looks through his window, he is only singing songs in karaoke mode in his living room. However, she calls Jordan on voicemail and tells him that she finds something strange about him and she will find out. Meanwhile, Jordan is dancing in his room in his underwear while swinging a baseball bat. He is then recording a Skype session for his life coaching class when the man from that day at the store bursts into his room. No, not to get revenge, but to get his money for doing what Jordan told him to do. While Hope was busy doubting Angel, it turns out that he is the man she trusts more than anything, who has been ruining her entire career. When Hope meets Jordan, she complains to him about Angel being so petty and ruining her entire career and stuff like that. Jordan tells her that he will talk to Angel and resolve the situation. He then goes to Angel's salon and lamely mentions how he is a life coach and wants a partnership, which causes Angel to ask him to leave. Upon his exit, Jordan is frustrated with the embarrassment, as if there was something else to be expected in the way he presented himself. However, talking to Hope during the call, he tells her that he spoke to Angel and will not bother her anymore. It turns out that Jordan created this entire scenario just to make himself look like a hero in front of Hope. At night, Hope feels better about the scenario until a creep sneaks into her house. She uses her taser just in time to scare him away, then calls Jordan in frustration, lashing out at him for not resolving things. Jordan, who is currently deleting all the sites he created, is shocked by the scenario himself, as if he had no idea what he did could have unforeseen circumstances. Hope is fed up with it and asks him to stay out of her business, as she will now handle the situation on her own. With no other solution, she goes to Armin, who tells her not to worry and that he will handle the situation for her now. All she has to do is never mention this to anyone again. The next day, Hope feels happy, which makes Maureen doubt her. Maureen tells her not to do anything stupid that could ruin everything they have worked for. Hope tells her to stay positive, as she would never do anything like that. However, she receives a call from the police and meets an officer in the parking lot, who shows her the surveillance footage of not Angel, but Jordan slashing her tires. So it turns out she did something very stupid by trusting Jordan and telling Armin to deal with Angel. That same night, Jordan is still on his plan to be a hero, asking the man to set up a similar scenario at the salon the next day, but at her house this time. Meanwhile, Hope tries to reach Armin to tell him to cancel whatever mission he's on, but like every cliché event, Armin doesn't have her phone with him and has arrived at Angel's house. While Hope is driving, Armin is busy having a brutal fight with Angel while telling her not to mess with Hope again. By the time Hope gets home, she sees the door partially open and enters, only to find Angel lying unconscious and covered in blood in his living room. She rushes away while trying to reach Armin, but Armin is very conveniently killed in a car accident moments after causing permanent damage to Hope's life and career. The next day, Hope calls Jordan, asking him to meet her in person, and tells him that something bad has happened to Angel. Jordan calls the police and reports Hope's stalkerish behavior towards Angel and how something happened to him. Hope was sneaking out her window while the police were investigating Angel's salon when she received a call about Armin's death. Maureen tells her Jordan's address. Hope arrives there to confront Jordan and realizes that this was his sick way of helping her and expressing his love for her. Hope escapes the scene by hitting him with a baseball bat. That night, Hope does her makeup in front of the camera again, but for a different scenario. When she's ready, the police show up at her door, and she turns herself in instead of doing something rash. However, they also manage to get Jordan arrested for his crimes. Just like any other Hollywood scandal, Angel is dragged into an unnecessary scenario, while Hope makes headlines for all the people seeking media attention. Not to mention Britt and Kaylee's show that twists her words from their interview, where Hope mentions how it all comes down to what you're willing to do to get where you want to be.